we believe that it's feasible to turn the school into a residential facility. And not only 55 apartments, which is what Molly has designed, it's 55 apartments, the majority are one bedrooms, but also some common spaces. There's a large gymnasium that can be repurposed for a gym, I guess, or a fitness center for the occupants of the building, and then also the community possibly, some community space, and basically preserves the building. So I guess with that little introduction, I'll ask Molly to talk about the floor plans and how the buildings would lay out with these apartments in the building. And all we have is 11 by 17s. So I think if you want to see, we can pass out some copies, and then you could gather around the big table here, and Molly can talk about the different spaces.
Sure. So if you are looking at the first page, we have, so it's laid out the first 3 different floors, and then the last page is just an expanded floor plan of what 2 typical units would look like. So we tried to keep as much of the original structure as possible, so we did very minimal moving of existing walls to just keep the floor plans as efficient as possible. So we did most of them along the outside of the building. That's where you'll find the units to get windows and light. And the interior courtyard also offers a good opportunity for light into those apartments and those kind of common spaces. So if you're looking at the first floor, that's where we have a mix of 1 bedroom and just 1 efficiency units. Try to lay them out to get the maximum amount of units without having too tortured a floor plan. So you have a nice open space floor plans within the units.
So I think, as Molly said, we tried to minimize the relocation of walls. So as you'll see in the plan, the corridors remain, and we're basically taking the classrooms and turning them into apartments. There's efficiencies with that in terms of demolition and construction. We do have that natural light and large windows on the perimeter.
So moving to the second page, this is the second floor plan. Pretty similar. We have some multi-purpose community spaces that can be just kind of left as an open space dependent on what the needs would be or how you want the building to function. And on the second floor, you've got 16 1-bedroom apartments and then an efficiency. Yeah, gymnasium. So on this floor, we're gonna keep the space, but just won't just reuse it for maybe a fitness center. So instead of it being a 2-story volume with basketball hoops, then we would just have it down to 1 story. So that can still allow for fitness activities, treadmills, weight machines, all of those kind of things. But then that allows us to take the 2nd story space and make those into apartments also. So what would be the 2nd part of the gymnasium is now apartments on the 3rd floor. So we look to the 3rd floor plan, that's where you'll see that we added 4 apartments and just kind of a lounge space also. And then we have a total of 16 1-bedrooms and then 9 efficiencies on the 3rd floor. So all in all, we have 55 units. 44 of those are the 1-bedroom and then 11 efficiencies. So that was kind of preliminarily the maximum amount of units that we could try and fit into the space, keeping a mix of 1-bedrooms and efficiencies.
What's nice about the school is that they're pretty much typical plans, first, second, and third. Classrooms are stacked that way, so the units layout is stacked units. So we have vertical stacks and chases for plumbing and electrical and mechanical systems. Again, more efficient construction than staggered and moving columns and stacks around the building. Building lays out really quite nicely for apartments, in my opinion.
And then the last page, you'll just find the enlarged unit plans. You can more closely see what a one bedroom would look like and then what an efficiency would look like.
And they're 550 to say 650 square feet, I think, for the one bedrooms. The efficiency is a little bit smaller, so not really small. I mean, pretty generous size. You can see there's a kitchen with the little kind of bar top there, with some stools divided kitchen and living room space. Generous size bedroom, bath. With the elevator, most of the units could be fully accessible, all of them if you choose. But if you were going to serve a senior or elderly population, that would be important. Floor heights are generous, so you can have some high ceilings, which is nice, 9-10 foot ceilings. Efficiency is, we don't have many, as Molly said there were 11, but they are, I think, nicely sized efficiency purposes. In terms of cost, tried to, again, stack units, minimize the demolition and relocation of corridor walls. All the stairways remain. The elevator barely meets ADA requirements, but does meet ADA requirements, so we were going to keep the existing elevator.
It doesn't meet the current requirements to get the full-size stretcher on it?
Not the full-size stretcher, but there is an exception for that size doorway and that size shaft, that it does technically meet ADA, but not for a full-size structure.
Well, we wouldn't, you know, like a developer would make that upgrade if they're gonna have senior housing.
They very easily could do that.
Just my experience is that, they would have to keep that upgrade, especially if it's senior housing.
It would be a nice amenity, a nice feature, but not required, I guess, to meet ADA. But you could very easily add, you know, currently the elevator is at the end of the corridor on, I think it's the south side. You could do the same type of thing with another elevator shaft on the north side. There are multimedia and community spaces. This plan shows a kitchen, keeping the kitchen, the existing kitchen area, and then the dining area across the hallway from that. Similar to what we did with either Meals on Wheels or another service provider could provide a meal program, maybe even not necessarily 3 meals a day, but maybe breakfast and dinner, breakfast and lunch, or something like that, for the residents. And then I'm not sure if Eaton is doing this in the preliminary plan. They were going to use that facility because you have a very nice facility, kitchen area, for outsourcing, for serving the population of Eaton. They were going to do Meals on Wheels, food preparation there, and the delivery out of the building. Another revenue source potential for the building. Just as a point of comparison, Eaton was successful with 40 units, and those were a mix of 1, 2s, and 3 bedrooms. This is 55, all 1 bedrooms and efficiencies. They were successful with pro forma. It was financially feasible to deal with 40 units. Similar size building to this, and in fact, Eaton was a little bigger because of the gymnasium and some of the board offices were, and how familiar you are with the building, some board offices were a part of that complex. And they made it work with 40 apartments. You know, any developer is going to look at cost of renovation, expenses to operate as opposed to income, and how that balances out. The greater number of units, more revenue potential that you have, and I think it becomes more financially feasible. Total, I think the budgeted, preliminary budget for Eaton was about $6 million for the renovation. That's less than the tax credit, syndication fees, developer fees, things like that would be associated with it. But hard construction costs were about $6 million. And we're estimating this to be about 7.5 or so in that range. Again, more units and reuse of that gymnasium, which there's a cost associated with that. I think we included some, it's a beautiful building to begin with, but years ago they took the cornices off to re-roof the building. And as you know now, there's some, I think, aluminum panels up there, not really in keeping with the historic appearance of the original building. So there is, in that budget amount, there is cost to kind of reconstruct that, not put it back as the original cornice, but make it a little more interesting, a little more attractive. Well, did you have anything to add at this point? Any questions? I don't know how deep you want to get into this, Richard?
Well, I think we should see, yeah.
I have one small question on this. Maybe a minute thing, but maybe not. Out of the school, they removed that cement signage plaque that was up above the one entrance way, and they put it at the new school. And now it's just blocked in. Would that go back in originally like it was, or restore that signage, or would you just leave that area blocked? That's actually part of the building. An original, I don't know what you call that, children sign, you know what I'm saying?
Can I express my opinion and thoughts and desire about that?
Is that a form of defacing an historical item? Is that what you would call that? I'm sure you-
Well, it's already made a difference in historic downtown Greenville. Those gone.
Right.
They've been there, for all those years, 92, I think, 24, 16, 92. I think it would cause more trouble to say, bring them back, but recreating them
Yeah. Which, that's something.
should, in my opinion, be part of if reuse can in fact happen. I think that's what historic downtown Greenville deserves, is to have what we do with, hey, first class to graduate was 25. Now, I just speak for our family, but here's 3 of my sisters. Our parents graduated in 1930. The class of 1930. And all their 7 children graduated, didn't they? I had 2 years in high school. I had freshman and sophomore, and then the new school was built. So, Becky, you just had that as junior high, didn't you? Beverly didn't have it as high school either. But now, how many of your children, Barbara, graduated?
All my children and all my grandchildren.
Marilyn, how many of yours?
We have 4 generations on both sides and one of my grandsons.
Hey, this happens when families live here for generations. At any rate, it exposes how important historically and culturally that building is to downtown Greenville. Removing that building would have a huge hit. You can't deny it. It would have a huge hit on historic downtown Greenville. The most monumental, the most, because over 100,000 square feet in that building. And, all of Whit Dittner's buildings were designed fire-proof. It's well built, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
and that's attributed, I think, to the board